Hi, and welcome to the City Show. I'm your host, John Zimkus. Today we have two guests from the Division of Fire of the City of Lebanon, Chief Ryan Dipzinski and Mitch Conway. Welcome, Chief.
Thank you, John.
The last time you were here, it was January, and we were promoting the new income tax slash property tax hybrid.
Correct.
We passed, which is great. And it's really, in my mind at least, very equitable as far as who's paying for the taxes there. And remind us all what the purpose of that tax was. What did we want to achieve?
So in March, we were able to, or back in November, we were able to adjust the income tax to the 1.5%. We upped that. And then in March, our goal was to solidify the renewal of the lower income tax or the lower property tax rate. And then, and with the residents voting strongly yes on that, we were able to do that. So what that allowed us to do is switch from a hybrid part-time, full-time model to all full-time. And we're currently going through all of our hiring processes, and we have 5 positions left to go, and then we're going to be all fully staffed.
Fantastic. Now, I'm sure one of the problems with the part-time is that the competition to get part-time or full-time is tough.
Very much. Yep, very much. We have most of our part-timers that worked for us worked full-time jobs in other places, so we'd lose them to overtime or just getting other jobs. And I mean, it's their duty that's their full-time job. So we were just kind of the part-time job that they worked in between hours. So this way it's nice. We can hire full-timers and they're part of our department, which is great.
Well, that is good. That is good. Now, Mitch is here partly because of that passing.
Correct. Yep. Very excited. This is Mitch Conway. He's going to be joining, or he has joined our Fire Prevention Bureau, which right now is just a single part-timer, Dennis Waldbillig, who's been with me on the show before. So we've been able to create a full-time position. Mitch has shown interest in the position, so went through kind of a hybrid hiring process, and we hired him. He officially starts this Wednesday.
Oh, you haven't started yet?
He started in kind of a model working, and our idea is Dennis has still a few years left in the Bureau, but as I said, he's a part-time, he's a very busy guy, so he gives us his time when he can. So the idea being that Mitch can train under Dennis and learn all of the businesses well, the city well, and then we can get him, hopefully hit the ground running when Dennis is ready to retire.
Well, I imagine you appreciate the fact that Dennis is there too.
Oh, absolutely. He's got a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, you don't want to learn this all by yourself, you know.
Right.
Oh, what does this do? Now, Mitch, tell us something about yourself.
Well, I've been with the City of Lebanon now for going on 10 years. I've been here for 10 years. I've been in the fire service for about 13 years. And I worked, of course, on the front line as a firefighter, paramedic for a while. And then due to unforeseen some medical issues, I decided to look into this position that it was available and went ahead and pursued it because of all the experience that I had and some of the qualifications. So.
Now, to be a fire inspector, do you have any additional training to
yes,
do that?
We have to go through a full class for fire inspecting. There's different levels of fire inspector, and I'm considered what's a level 2 fire inspector. So I did that class, and it was actually taught by Dennis last year.
Oh, that's good.
So.
Now, tell the audience what a fire inspector does.
So basically what we do is we go out and we go into the businesses and make sure they're up to code for fire prevention. And then we also do some of the adoption and fostering fire inspections at homes as well. And we also go into the schools, so we make sure they're all up to code, and we also do some outreach for education.
Now, going from a part-time to a full-time, how will that change what the fire inspector does?
So it won't really change a whole lot. I'll just get things done more efficiently and a little bit quicker because, Dennis has done a lot. He's done a lot to grow the foundation of the program, but he has limited days here at the department, so he can only do so much with his limited hours. And allowing for a full-time inspector to come in, we can get out to the public more. So,
do private businesses have to be inspected by a fire inspector?
So all businesses in the city of Lebanon will be inspected by a fire inspector. They just have to make sure that they're up to code with fire extinguishers, and restaurants up to code with different hood system extinguishing, and to make sure there's fire prevention things in place.
Now, as far as private homes go, it's not the same thing, though, is it?
No, it's a little bit different. So we go off of the form that the family would obtain from the agency that they're going through, and we would follow their form to make sure that everything is compliant.
Now, an apartment complex would still be inspected, wouldn't it?
It would be. So the common areas of an apartment complex are inspected to make sure the exit signs work appropriately if they're in there, and then also to make sure fire extinguishers are up to code and up to date with inside the common areas.
Now, one of the reasons the two of you are here today is because of the holiday coming up in a couple of weeks, the 4th of July. Fireworks are very popular, but they're also very dangerous. What are some of the things people should know about whether or not they want to set off fireworks?
Well, the biggest thing to understand is right now the state of Ohio has, made it legal to, to shoot off fireworks per se. These fireworks are 1.4 gram consumer grade fireworks. Those are the ones that you can buy in Ohio, and you can actually shoot those off in the state of Ohio legally.
So is a gram per gunpowder? Is that what it is?
It's just it's 1.4 grams of the explosive inside of there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for a long time, it wasn't legal in Ohio, right, to buy
Correct.
those?
Yep.
Because I remember that didn't stop people from getting it.
Of course. Ohio was always limited to like sparklers and smoke bombs.
Yeah.
That was all we could ever get our hands on.
Now, the 1.4, what does that entail? What kind of fireworks or can a citizen have?
So it's kind of like bottle rockets, firecrackers, sparklers, fountains, those kinds of things. You can have certain what they call mortar shells, but there's different regulations for those too. So to have an aerial firework, you have to have a 300 square foot area between you and the audience and you and a structure in order to detonate those. And with the ones that stay on the ground are not aerial, they can be, I think it's 50 feet. Yeah,
so.
50 feet. So they have to be 50 feet away from the audience and 50 feet away from a structure in order for those to be lit.
And who can set those off?
Anybody above the age of 18 and who is not intoxicated.
Yes. Well, I remember last year talking with Dennis. Unfortunately, fireworks and having a beer on the 4th of July sort of go together.
They do.
But it's not legal.
No, it is not. It could be a misdemeanor if you get caught with
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Now, that's a state law, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, where can people set them off?
So they can shut them off on their own private property, obviously if they, decide to do that. And then also if they're at a friend's house or family's house, as long as they have consent, that the property owner has to give that person consent in order to do that. Now, they are not legal to set them off inside any public place. So anywhere in this, any city of Lebanon owned property is not legal. So you can't go to a random park here and shoot them off.
Now, technically, does that mean you can't shoot them off on the street either? Or can you shoot them off on the street?
Technically, no.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be in your private residence or your yard where you're supposed to not bother other people is the idea too, but it's 4th of July.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't have a dog, but I have a grand dog, and we often babysit our grand dog.
Yep.
Bella does not like fireworks.
Yep.
And
I don't know many dogs that do.
Yeah. So that's something to consider if you were setting them off somewhere near. If you have a pet or if your neighbors have pets, you might want to take that in consideration. But there's also, from what I've read, a thing about livestock and fireworks.
Yeah. So you have to give at least a 5-day notice to set fireworks off around livestock buildings.
Does Lebanon have very many livestock buildings?
I can't think of many except for maybe around the fairgrounds and maybe a little bit more, getting out towards rural, towards the township.
You get out into Turtle Creek and stuff, there's a lot of farms out there, which, definitely city fireworks could affect that for sure, but you never know.
Now, does the township have the same sort of laws Lebanon has concerning fireworks? Or does it change once you leave the city limits?
So the thing is that the OAC has certain laws, but then other jurisdictions can still hold certain different laws. So if they don't want certain things done in their jurisdiction, they can make that decision and put that out there.
Now, one thing I didn't realize, and I think I learned it a year or so ago, is they're only legal on certain days or around certain days.
Correct. So with the 4th of July coming up, it's the weekend before and the weekend after, and of course the holiday. And then Memorial Day, Labor Day, Diwali, I think it's called.
Yep.
So those are the holidays that
Yeah.
they have listed, and they're all in the OAC.
Okay. New Year's Eve part of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
New
I
Year's Eve
often
is-
hear them around New Year's Eve,
Yes.
that
Yep.
sort of thing.
New
Yeah.
Year's Eve is one we forget a lot because it's so cold.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I imagine many people don't know about the certain days. Is there much, do many people get in trouble because of doing that? Do we have issues sometimes? Or people complaining that fireworks are going off and they're not doing it responsibly, and so they call on their friend or neighbor or something?
We get complaints. I'm sure dispatchers can relate to, just the amount of calls that we get, and the calls that we deal with are going to be injuries or any kind of damage that's been done to homes due to fireworks. But we don't get too many of the nuisance calls, and we don't get too many of the investigations.
Okay.
Police will usually go out and investigate if they have to, if they feel that it's needed, that they need to. But like he said, weekend before, weekend after, that whole sandwich of the week is
Yeah.
basically a week of fireworks, and they're going off every night. It seems like.
Do you have many calls about injuries?
It's been. I think we had one last year, and then because we have to report them to the state. So all of our fireworks injuries have to be reported. So I think that's the only one we reported. I'm pretty sure.
Now, no permit is needed to set them off, right?
These type of fireworks that he mentioned, that he went over, no, during those allowable weekends. But when you get into the bigger shows and some of the other stuff, absolutely you have to have them.
There was, and one of the things I read about it, it said there's also a 1.3 gram.
Yeah, the 1.3 and the 1.4 not consumer grade, display grade is what they're talking about there.
Okay.
So to give an idea, 1.4 gram consumer grade firework will have about the size of an aspirin tablet of the explosive in it.
Now, I also read that they're really, to do it right, you have to be very cautious what to do with them once they've exploded, or if they don't explode, what do you do with the ones that might be a dud but still dangerous?
So you definitely don't want to try and relight it. If it's
Yeah.
a dud, it's a dud. Don't try to relight it. Don't try to find a fuse. Just get your container of water that you have and soak them. So everything that's either not detonated or have been detonated needs to be soaked for a few hours before you discard in the trash.
Yeah. So a few hours, that sort of surprised me. So I guess to a certain degree, it could, although it may be wet, or at least the outside's wet,
Yep.
the explosive part may not be neutralized yet.
Right.
Yeah. You want them completely saturated before you throw them in the trash can or something.
Okay. Now, another thing I read is you should not do it during a drought. Well, do we have a drought? I mean, it's pretty brown out there.
Right. So right now, I'd say yes, we had a drought. Yeah, we had a pretty good downpour yesterday. But we're in a drought, so be very, very cautious when doing these things, especially in your yard.
Yeah, because that grass will catch on fire, especially if it hasn't been watered or anything like that. Yeah.
Right.
So really looking at some of the loose shrubbery in your yard, or if things fly into the woods or something that's just a little bit more dry than maybe your yard or something else. So it's always good to make sure you know which way the wind's blowing, where you're shooting these things, and just be careful. Just be responsible. Have a great time. Have fun. Just be responsible when you're doing it. That's all.
And part of that responsibility, I imagine, is not pointing at anything.
No, the old games of Roman candle shooting at each other is not a good idea.
No.
No, you don't want to cause injury to yourself or others.
Yeah, whether it be a car, a building, a person, or maybe, we were talking, into the woods is not that
Right.
right a move.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Well, what else is going on with the fire department? We know that the staff is getting more full-time. Have anything else progressed from years past?
So really, we've just been focusing on our staffing. We're on our third year in the brand new station. Fire equipment is up to date, and we're doing really well on that. And right now things are, knock on wood, they're good. We're in a good spot. Culture's starting to get built, and really just kind of building a brand new fire department under the full-time model, which is exciting and fantastic.
Now, the new station, I mean, I know part of the old problem with the station on, they're both 42, right?
41.
41, I always get that mixed up. They were both 41, but the 41, which was on Silver Street, wasn't big enough for some of the trucks.
No,
That's not an issue now, right?
it is definitely not an issue now. All of our trucks fit in just fine. And that station was not even built to house men and women overnight.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a makeshift. We'll do the best that we can with what we have, which is, and we did it for years. But it was just, we outgrew it. We got way too busy, and as you mentioned, we bought a fire truck. It doesn't.
Well,
Really
it was a laundry, you know.
It was a laundromat.
Yeah.
And they did everything they could to try to retrofit it and make it work. It just, it was not a firehouse.
Yeah.
So we luckily the citizens supported us there too, and we were able to build the city a fantastic fire station.
Now, part of it, maybe it's an outreach program, but it's definitely a community program. The meeting area in the firehouse can be used by organizations in town, can it?
100%. Yep. We have a very crowded calendar already, and we have been for the past at least 2 years since the word's gotten out that we do offer this free community room to people to come and join. They just have to call us and make sure that the room is available, give the time, the hours, stuff that they need for it, and then we just have some rules and regulations that go along with it, just some things for cleaning up and stuff like that. Other than that, yeah.
What kind of groups are using it?
Oh, we have a quilting group. We hold CPR classes. We have Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts. We have some birthday parties there. We have who else do
So
we
it's
have?
individuals besides organizations.
Oh, yes, yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, like, I mean, growing up, I never would have thought I could have my 10-year-old birthday party in a firehouse, but we offer that to kids and families if they want to do that. So they get, an awesome place to do it. They get a tour. They can climb around our apparatus, meet the firefighters, and just have a great day out of it.
Now, the fire department was part of that. Was it Lebanon Health Market? Was that?
Yeah, the Healthy Living Market.
Yes,
a
I
few
always
weeks
get-
ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure was.
So,
Yep.
what did you do for that?
So we had a booth out, and we just we handed out some of our swag, or everyone gets, So we handed out some of that stuff. We have some cool little dog bowls that we were able to get this time for I think that was the weekend of the pup run, I think, too.
Yes,
So
yes.
we handed some of those out to some of the dog moms and dads, and then just hung out with the city and handed stuff out.
Oh, great, great. Well, Mitch, Ryan, is there anything else we should tell the viewers about what the fire department's up to, or what they should be concerned with during the season?
Well, we've got, as far as the fireworks go, we've got our big Light Up Lebanon coming up, which is going to be on the 3rd of July. So if anyone doesn't hopefully no plans on the 3rd, they can come out to, we have our parade that's going on. We'll be an active part of the parade, and then right after that, we move over to the park, and we're going to have all the festivities over there. And then Mitch is going to be locked down with making sure the fireworks show is all safe and set up on the other side with Rozzy. And it's going to be a great day, great week.
Oh, great, great. I, as you may know, I work now at the Harmon Museum.
Yes.
And I just found an article from 110 years ago. It's 1914. And they were going to have a fireworks display at Harmon Park. And they wanted it to be a safe and sane holiday. So the man who was in charge of lighting off the fireworks lived on Orchard Drive, and he was a mechanical engineer who worked for Peters Cartridge. So he
Okay.
he knew his explosives.
Sure did,
Right.
yeah.
So and so he took care of that. Well,
Did
Mitch.
he have all 10 fingers?
Yeah, yes, as far as I know. Well, one of the things I found in researching him is he got several patents. There's an old saying, you only get experience after you don't need it, or
That's
something.
right, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Well, Mitch, Ryan, thanks for being here, and
course.
thanks
Thank you.
for the service you do to the city. The fire department is very important, and take advantage of the fact if you have a program you want, or you have a meeting you want to hold, let them know. They're busy, but that's available. Okay. Well, thanks again.
Thank you, Jim.
Absolutely.
You take care. We'll see you later.